Mayro SMM is one of my favorite YouTubers on the entire platform. Mayro SMM just does a lot of really cool projects, including modding videos and also attempting certain challenges. But there was one thing in particular that I found one of the most funny things that she ever did. She has multiple videos where she Google translates some text inside a game. Google Translate is obviously not run on a supercomputer, as we all know, because with Google Translate, meanings can get lost quite often. So, I thought, when she did this for text in the video game, why not do the same thing, but instead for an actual YouTube video? For this, I picked one of Mayro SMM's most popular videos, namely her Mario Galaxy 2 video, where she tries to beat Mario Galaxy 2 without actually touching any transformations whatsoever. And that was a pretty difficult task, so I hope you enjoy. There's some pretty funny things to be there, so I really hope you enjoy it. Other than the voice, the things that she talked about, nothing in the video is gonna be changed graphically wise, but yeah, I hope you enjoy. Super Mario Galaxy, setting apart enough for the second time in the January 2, 2017 2. In that sense, is a very small part of the hour is come to be traveling thousands of Pamak who had passed by. But a simple wander in different wards of the pudding too is no change, and two, that they should not attempt to turn to the things round about of February 2017 too. I cannot, for they are 2 years old, was I. I know it is so of the version in the version of its Galaxy Mario world. There is a lot to learn about the other parts, which took on the character on the plane. If, however, in the mind of man, who is resolute, but ever follow that which must be believed. Super Mario Galaxy 2 is the change will not be able to resist you? I wanted to prove it could have been the stars of May 53, 2018, but have done. What is the goal? I will explain this today. However, there are so many advanced technologies which help to work with hands and glitches and to teach. Super Mario Galaxy equals Peach fans welcome it. Hi. The way he could explain what he had in front of developers in turn, as it cannot be at all. I'm sure I was somewhere, but he is not likely to change the list of states follow the rules Nintendo. I know that does not really fit the image of God, the true power of such changes and upheavals, and to show mercy. Be transferred to the vessels of the precepts of the player, for the right of appeal is to be an actor, not hinder its continuance also. In other words, gems' backs rotate them, although they are activated species. Clouds like a flower because the prohibition is about to gain new strength by collecting the player again. It was given to Yoshi Yoshi, Mario is not changed. Yoshi and Yoshi Mario genius in it. There are 3 transformations of Yoshi Band is prohibited. I work. This power is prohibited by white ups. I Mushroom Cloud Rock. B Mushroom. Mushroom Boo. I Mushroom Spring Fire. Mary Star. Peppers. With revenue right. More. If they are real only what he is to remember that it is not only to understand the bonds of the collectibles and the orders of those men they run. I bought it that it is safe, is it? Wherefore, lest our gods into the boats not only do the same. Unfortunately, the stars are not enough to avoid changes to the game because it contains. Galaxies are required change that frequently visit the developer. Dawn fluffy inside galaxies. As for all the manner of milk, chemist though, with many flowers to teach, what would you do in the thickets of cloud, you do that. If the singer will be in the last leg. First of all, they wished to be could not get the Mayro in 2017. When you touch a cloud of flowers, can send love to reach too few bodies. This happens in boxing. First, because of this section, you can freely access the cloud platform. At an altitude of the top of each of the places, at least the triple of the bus, we have to rebuild the wool and shall not turn aside. While you want a lot of wool and always will be a future, in the twinkling of an airframe in the cloud and of the current of the other, as if the matter is not jumping rope to escape all the appearance of a cloud of the earth and slugs. They just push off the season. Backflip, to say nothing of all the centers, maybe well with wake up now flies faster nor moves. Backflip was inquired to, the obstacle rotates, the first public sale of the joystick angle of about 30 to 45 degrees for a long way from the left side of his mouth, that is the cloud of flowers, and finally to go and pass it to the last at least 3 times the edge of the mainstream cloud. In memory of his he is tried. The prize has reached the highest place of the mark. Skip the first exchange. I hope haste. Remember, there's no change, that words do not have a right to what he sees. But this is only one receives the pepper a bit to run. However, attacking the walls, running out of all the things they cannot move. To bring an end to the infinite regulation on the fly, flies and malfunction. One is that we can take advantage of the bus Yoshi airtime short circuit. However, if the jump near the end of a veteran makes flying through the game is considered as outside of the flight altitude, he cannot to do what is means to an end. I saw the majesty of punishment are not the disease, it is recommended at least tidings, they mourned. Then you will be ready for something that everyone on the planet bird dates to infinity. More him. Twice. Otherwise, also she is the one to get the main track, and on behalf of the Sega is a star. This time the planet takes to do something, it would be this too, was almost unbearable. If the velocity of the comet, I think, laughed her. And he was out with someone with a smile, that he was taken out for the honey from the flower. I am not kidding, so that is more agreeable. In addition to the instruction that you can change the other side, since these galaxies fluffy clouds radiate from the big of the bench. But these things are not able to do that are kept in safety, and that otherwise the wine will burst at once that we can use, if it is not in such a way that the bundle from the beginning. Further, this fungus is a bee, from the common and almost invisible to him. Be careful. And the longing for infinite mind-soothing realm of starfruit is not always get slippery touch. This is enough to be self-evident for the most part of his nature, in the which I have already said, if you have been traveling for a feeling of to teach, that as the pulsation of the mind, there's an infinite regress. Do you see that it is much more quickly than the height thereof? For what purpose the travel speed will depend on the distance traveled. If the speed of the pulse of what is right, and is the sublime act of a definite distance. If, as a short time, he was turning aside the stranger, and the side of the mountain you have brought from there, hurried to their doom utterly permanent. See the relation of itself to the end, but on being invited, so the elf will too. Hence the need for a deluge and a longer time. I have the right and the left, or to be carried away, and ordered the four be marked. I will play football the right direction, stranger struck without corners. Another is the infinite 3 stars in the world, but it is much easier. Hanja Infinity Rolls requests that it be banned in the middle of the second level in Barry to run the ball. But as long as we are able to mention in this section cannot be totally out of bad. Normally, the main obstacle for the difficulty you are supposed to use the ball, but they do not even have to avoid flying in the infinite being? And it is up to the light. It did not turn aside, neither to walk outside, and you cannot. So, now come! Pick from a sufficient time to lower the right. Let's look a little harder for us. In cold weather, without heavenly cloud of flowers. The roughness of the vast nature of the star, which is what happens after it. However, easily hidden speaker. Otherwise, the cloud of fluffy clouds stands. If you feel to touch a cloud of gloom or freely circulating air of prosperity, you have much more freedom to the scene. However, the world is very intent on erasing the clones cannot lose. The source of the fungus where there was leaping upon the galaxy does not work. Without doubt, he really, even in my opinion, easily the star. I love a lot of time with the day is equal to the thread he backflip, and I began at once to do the same. In the early spring, completely free of the power of devotion is nothing. Kappa Starshine Christ. First of all, it's my job to ask the star, he said previously. I do not have a bright shape with chili each element of the valley. So, if the second half, we will be a lot more protein and cloudless skies. And there were things there be which is most easily speedrun the pavements of the I do not have, but they do the same. Going out on top across the cloudy layer make up of that. That may be true. You do not need, you can cover for speed, meter set Kongu, galaxy which is navigable to infinity. But this does not need to take a look at honey galaxies jump in the time as we teach you a new engineer. XC jumps step wall. Of course, it will be necessary to remember one another they do not believe at the same time to prevent the other side of the wall. Even if you kept at 90 points. It reached to the wall of the left it held for the first time in 3 stories. This one that is simulated. If the bus is difficult to be able to jump to a corner of the wall of the line cannot be uttered. Jump to the wall will be able to process in order. The 90 degrees challenge for jumping the wall are very useful, but they are not really useful for anything else. However, if the kids want to cool the dining table, they do not know you got over 90 degrees, jump out of the wall. But this principle absolutely too. Then, mushroom soup. It is not difficult to consider that you escape, even though they are also said a little weird. I really tried to push hard game. The floor was lowered, which is not allowed in the area of New Era. Let's face forget Operate Cloud blossomed. It should also wash off the ice crossing the Red Sea. Humility is the first, that is to say, that it is approached from the crossing of a species of the distance to be moved too much to the life of grace. Not many were of mushrooms. Because we were slaves in the blink washing able to achieve safety for the child to walk into 4 losses varied. Therefore, it is possible to indoor air quality, especially at the gap. So, that's it. 53 stars. 2018. However, they may not be able to be wear the sleeve. If possible, head start in a violent move against them and break in the world 55-5 impediment. Bern Scheffer said Galaxy host commentary contained 8 arches. the knowledge to conquer and held a bow and the star of negotiations, just one perfect thing, that ye may find a way to you, everyone who spend, and 30 from them. In that case, everyone tries to may, once more established. He tried to grind it. We cannot look, I just tried to look. But I cannot, that there is no man is able to do many things well. Why do they not jump from one to the other? But I will not give in. Well, many of you have a cracker and much faster. Oh my god, and they're counselors. And they come in a second time to return to the slow, and that they should not so be it. This would not be that I am, mainly in the midst of the chariot with which you cannot make it clear. Oh, sorry guys. We're sorry, you guys. You do not need is the star. Remember what he said to the stars need to do for a long time? Let's go for 5 seconds left. He sits on the ideas of 4 and 5 stars on. I really put us in a comment on a Pepsi accessing 4 stars, but unfortunately we cannot. Galaxy that he is gone his way to the hope of being able to, that is, with the mode of propagation. This time the planet takes to do something, it would be this too, was almost unbearable. If the velocity of the comet, I think laughter. It is not really enough for the stars. Galaxy took the challenge and I have 7 minutes until we see that includes fast. This is not just 3 minutes of the comet and meteorite. We have 55 stars for the 2018 season. Let's get out of here. Dawn fly everywhere in the galaxy. Space cloud of fluffy bows in lesser or shell is reinforced using a boom length of the pendulum. But we have, even though they were along the horizontal jumps. Under the cloud of flowers, the planets are said to be crucified to communicate with the metal. In order to jump to a speech shall meet with evils of the life for a long time, so as not to choose for ourselves. In a word, as described above, this is to limit the meaning of the various forms of the game. And I will give to you. I do not want to move to return to normal speed at the judgment seat. Bounce is a habit of choosing, so that no swiftness. The offering of the demands of the diameter of the speed of the desolation and far off in the forest here. Now there are many. For this is he of all things as in the same place and the people. In the end, that there is no free measures of meal, it is so. If, however, they turn the jump, press down a little longer to give the threefold mission of A, there is not yet enough. If he does jump to the top of the fence and I still use it. We lift them up to the mind and to jump from the wall of the bus, if God, willing to infringe the lack of hope of the world, like unto clear glass. In the desert, the present rather high overhead, the method used to communicate with all of you turn? With regard to the conversation of these say nothing of the electricity. However, Mayro's scuttlebutt silly to other electricity for charging, you know. In this way, this is not necessarily a lot of sense. The issue was addressed. Fair point. Nothing is useful topping attacks Bowser Jr. electric plant. However, it is fair to say, a triple jump in a straight path planning in the area of basketball glory. Oh god, yes. Dude, too. Almost 20 minutes to me, no matter what the visual image. But at last, I was able to hit the ball on the wall, jump and the triple division of the electrical, where for the first time by means of the good of that is invisible to you. I jump out of the trench. Then, the mouth it could more do they spin. Twice. But oh my god, you set the time on my third day. I started receiving? Well, what am I to do in this place? I need you to get those things that float, wait, and finally to stop driving around. For football at the end of the free twice backflip intact. This much, you can see the electric ball, so you have to use trial and error to find the right element to it. Finally, the one in a million perform, it tries to crawl to try and kill him. How foul programmer. Thus, on all sides of the galaxy, because it is the transformation of the three were ready for the work of 6 of the world, do you think out of the way, wondering about our future condition? We cannot find how to create a flower in the clouds galaxy court, without anything? There can be no safety in your mouth-killing squizzard sand galaxy? How to escape from the crystal without the mushroom? No? The creation of the Milky Way. Fight the last obstacle between us, Zone Galaxy. Galaxies, however, one of the least well documented on us almost as quickly as possible, and I hope Aliquam itself, but to the enemy in the west. The way to use the red fire in the galaxy. Without being saved, not only the stars and planets can be expressed by the fireplace and roast crabs each other. Well, you can use a slingshot for an absolute fool. Worst of all, do you think that such a custom, nor Mayro SMM me, the images of the planet of Mercury, or it comes from the mind? The ark of the with which the ark was carried, my soul should be. There are 3 things to God. I will jump from the tree unless the contrary is in you from the time that is there. For star icing graduated greatest secret, since the 70th comet is to say afterwards. War comet meantime, Daredevil galaxy and belt, and call it perfect. The long journey, but by the end he got exactly 70 stars, and we are ready to fight Wow Bow. Oh, Bowser and your name? The youngster. I think it's important briefly totally failed, because they know what the rules are so eager to cross the blocks very easy to forget.
Block search the soldier crane, told us again dash starting with pepper and pepper. Pepper dash all the part of the line of the stars, take all of the money who would only think independently. Dash catch balls, steal without pepper. Mark mystery is all jump mushroom. Shall not give her fruit, and the nimbleness of his application. Rounds and stars basic, but not the price of the flower. Let me go berry. Mark silver stars, sweet mushroom. Holding your hands in the sand of the planets have no orbits, and silver, search of the pepper is poured in. Serena towers are in blue. Belita's rejuvenation of spring will not jump words. Without both berry mystery. That the prince be hunting clouds, ooh. That is the ultimate challenge for ship, no cloud without flower. Army 8 icy ocean, without any effort. V, smallest arc in a cloud of fleshy boomsday, no dance in a non-stop, without any dark fruit. Mini planet megastar without running a fire, YY mini huge flame. Travis through fire without crushing the stars, Daredevil V.
20. And now, it's time for 1. In the last couple of years, I wish to run. Me and you both, buddy. But now the fact that they win. The co-equals Peach and Interpreter great with you now, and to me, it is important to deliver the Persian Gulf. That is indeed what is to be seen cannot fairly be divided into 3 forms. A cloud flower, fruit dash pepper, and blimp. There is, however, under the constitutions of the stars of the palm of people, think that as we have a funny, joyful sonate in the temple, not only so as to have, in a few words, there is nothing at all. The flower of the journey of the cloud and the cloud of flowers, as it does not take place. However, pepper push, well, you are wondering what will likely be very difficult at this stage. No. Of course, as far as possible, the thickness of the walls we would like to go around. No. Furthermore, it will be able to continue, but this is definitely not the jump to clip on a wall by means of something that is a specific, bounded by a wall or something similar to that. No. That we can enter, but not far above. It's the best way I have found, as appears from the borders on it and subtle of hearts, wanders here and there by the corner. That you cannot understand, but it's a funny tense flies to the hundreds of thousands of miles per hour, and these 10 times you see the Mario world. And we're done. Take a bow, and you're done. Delay! What? Marcus has a benefit in a mushroom. But just as I do not rule out that he is one of the 120 stars, is it unto thee, and I will not have any bread? See, if he does not have, he believes he cannot die in the mushroom. What a lot of cold at the breakfast table. Poltergeist spirit, is it right? We need to find a way to keep cool that he believes children? Do not, therefore, take no thought, I got a behind thy back. If I had been here, they are strolling in Yoshi essence of the infinite sacrifice to him. Life, God, well-being. It focuses on the fact that they want. Well, because the credits I get? He died in the credits! He died in the credits! Let's go! This completes the run. I would like to thank you for helping me get through the equal speech, big thoughts and feel with due consideration given to the big top videos. Here are some of my favorite YouTube videos. I'm also a fan of my videos. What would like to hit me? Do not hesitate to commit the acts of which, if you are new here. Now, if we want kids to justify getting cold on the table. Goodbye.